Hey guys! Today we're going to be revisiting the Knack Series 2 Medium Expandable Knack Pack. And I had previously done an unboxing video for this bag, and overall my first impressions were really solid. But first impressions are one thing, it's quite another to actually put something to real world usage. So I've now had the opportunity to load this out a bunch of times, use it for my day-to-day, for a few road trips, and really get a feel for what it's gonna be like for anybody who chooses to go with this bag. And so the question is, does it hold up? And that's exactly what we're gonna be covering in this video. And I'll also be talking a little bit about how this compares to the Series 1 Knack. So I'm excited to share it with you guys. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. And so to kick things off, I'm gonna start a little bit differently than I do in a lot of my other reviews and talk about the bag's capacity when it's expanded out. So one of the coolest things about Knack bags in general is their ability to expand and work well for travel usage as well as EDC. So I currently have the Series 2 packed out and expanded to its max capacity. So the way that you currently see the bag here, it comes in at about 35 liters, which is a really great one bag travel size. This is normally the size that I like to take with me when I travel abroad for 1 to 2 weeks, as it's able to hold just a little bit more, but it still manages to meet most carry-on requirements for international airlines. So I was able to hold a ton of stuff. And one of my favorite things about the Knack bag specifically is that I not only have it packed out for travel, but also with the items that I normally like to carry on my day-to-day. And then as far as the sizing, compared with the Series 1, it's a little bit tricky because for that original version, there's actually 3 different sizes. There's a small, a medium, and a large. This is probably most equivalent to the medium version of the Series 1 Knack Pack. So jumping into what I currently have into the suitcase style compartment, I'll go ahead and start there first just so I can start emptying the bag out a little bit. The first thing that I wanted to call out here is that you have a lockable zipper. And so it's nice to have these locking zippers all throughout the bag to give you some peace of mind as you're traveling. So I'll go ahead and open this up, and then you have this suitcase style opening that gives you a lot of visibility into what you have packed out, so you can easily grab whatever you need. And so this compartment specifically has about 11 liters of volume when it's fully expanded out, and I was really impressed just how much I was able to fit. So you have this little compression strap and flap at the top to kind of help keep everything in place and compress the items down, particularly if you don't have it fully packed out. So you can release that with this plastic buckle very easily. And then with the items that I have here, I could definitely travel for a week or 2 while going abroad. So what I tossed in is just an extra pair of shoes. These are some Toms in a packing cube. And then I also have a smaller packing cube that has some of my underwear, socks, and t-shirts. And then I have my larger double-sided and compressible packing cube where I have my shirts and jeans and just other large clothing items. Now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. So a very simple layout here, just a nice bucket of space, and I really like the bright inner lining that Knack has included here. It also has an antimicrobial treatment to prevent, any sort of buildup of moisture or, just smells that you have with just packing out your clothing while you're traveling. And then moving on to the other side, you have a nice mesh zippered pocket here for anything that you want to separate out in this main compartment. I like that this pocket has some volume to it. You can see that it kind of comes up a little bit. So if you have something a little bit thicker that you want to place in here, maybe like a jacket or a toiletry bag, or maybe even a pair of shoes or sandals. The only thing that I currently tossed in here just to save on space and bulk is the bag that the Knack bag is actually included with. So this can serve as a laundry bag. It's pretty big for a laundry bag, but it's nice that it actually comes with the bag. You can just fold it out small, and then you can have a lot of space to hold any items while you're staying somewhere on the road. And then when you arrive at your destination, if you want to leave all of your stuff in your hotel room, or if you're just using this as an EDC bag, you can actually close this up and then compress the bag down. And so the compression system works very simply. It has this zipper that kind of goes all the way around, and I like how they matched the expansion materials out, so you have a very consistent look whether it's compressed or expanded. So a nice little touch there. And then you have this zipper with a nice tab here. You want to make sure that you don't get any of the material caught as you're compressing it down, and just putting that all the way around. Again, this compresses the bag down to about 25 liters, which to me is a really great daily bag size. It's still very spacious even at this capacity, but it's not so overwhelming that it looks, weird while you're wearing it. And, now that I have this, as I mentioned earlier, it was packed out with the items that I normally like to carry with me. So this is a good kind of view of how it would look while wearing it compressed. And I like that even when it's full like this, it still has a very slim silhouette, which makes it great for navigating crowded areas or jumping onto public transit. Now with the bag compressed down, you can get a better look at the aesthetics, and I talked about the updated look a little bit in my unboxing video, and as I've used this more over the past couple of weeks, I've actually come to like the aesthetic even more than I did in my original impressions. To me, this just looks a lot sleeker than the more triangular shape of the Series 1 Knack Pack, which I still thought looked good. Both to me have a very nice kind of professional vibe, so it's gonna be really good for work travel or for taking it into the office. And this particular shape here for the Series 2 to me just looks a little bit more rounded, more modern. I also like the accenting here on the bottom with the leather that they have. The logo is a little bit more subtle, and I just love the all black appearance. So this is definitely an appearance that works well for me. It doesn't look super techy, and it just feels like it's gonna blend into a lot of different environments. And then as far as the materials, these have held up very well. On the exterior, you have a 400D nylon material, which feels pretty lightweight, but still rugged enough for rougher usage. It's also coated with a polyurethane coating to help add some additional weather resistance. And then you have some nice reverse coil YKK zippers all throughout. And then continuing along the outside, you have a few handles on the side and top of the bag. In the unboxing video, I mentioned that this side handle was something that I'd really wanted to see on the Knack bags for a while, particularly since this has kind of a professional aesthetic and you can tuck the straps away. It seemed like this would just be a great way to use this as a briefcase when walking into a meeting. This also pairs nicely with the luggage paster that we'll talk about in a second. And then at the top, same style of handle. You know, these are very comfortable. They have this meshy material on the inside. They also have the leather accenting, which feels comfortable, but as you can see, it can tend to get marked up a little bit, so you have to be careful as you're using it, but it just feels very nice, and so far the handles have been very comfortable to hold. And then on one side of the bag, you have a nice water bottle pocket. So that was nice to see, same as the original Knack Pack. And this has a pretty good amount of space, especially considering that the bag was fully packed out. I was still able to place the same 20-ounce water bottle that you've seen on a lot of my other daily bag videos, fit in there comfortably. I like the implementation here, as you know, it really keeps a cleaner look to the bag than kind of a mesh pocket on the outside. I like both styles. It's still nice to have that external pocket so you can more quickly grab the bottle when you need to. But this style is nice too because it's a little bit more versatile if you want to use this to store something that's not a water bottle. So like the amount of space that's offered here, and then when you don't want to use it, you can just zip it up and it just kind of stays out of the way. And then moving into the straps and the back paneling, so far the bag has been pretty comfortable to wear. I think the straps here have definitely been improved over the Series 1 version of the bag. The padding feels a little bit more kind of robust or thick, but it's still soft and comfortable right out of the box. I like that they have this meshy material on the inside to help prevent moisture from building up. And the straps also have a pretty good width to help prevent the bag from digging into my shoulders when it was a little bit more packed out. I will say, however, that even though they have a nice width, when the bag was expanded out and really kind of packed out to capacity, I did start to tend to feel a little bit of fatigue as I wore this for a longer period of time. And then on the straps, you also have a nice adjustable and removable sternum strap to help distribute the weight. I really like the G-hook system that has been included here to make it a little bit easier to actually remove the sternum strap when you want to have a cleaner look. Continuing on with the back paneling, this has also been really comfortable. Again, it feels like this has been improved over the Series 1. The padding just feels a little bit softer to me. It has this sort of gel-like foam. I think it's like a Cool Max material or something like that. And this has felt really nice. For me, for my personal preferences, I still prefer to have a meshy material on the back paneling, similar to what we see on the straps. But this has still felt great. I just feel like this offers a little bit more moisture absorption. And then I like that you have these nice elevated air channels here to provide ventilation while you're walking around. One thing I didn't quite catch when I did the unboxing is this is actually Knack's logo here. So a nice touch there that also provides a little bit of extra functionality and comfort. And then a few last notes while we're on the back paneling and the straps is that you can actually hide the straps away. They have these very nice metallic buckles here, and I love this system as it makes it very easy to get the straps on and off. One interesting note here is that the buckles themselves are metallic, but the place where you attach them is plastic, and this is Duraflex plastic, I believe, so it feels durable. But you know, it would have been nice to maybe have both of these be metallic. And then you can actually hide these straps away at the top. And I like that this pocket here has its own volume, so it doesn't actually share space with the luggage pass-through, which is another nice feature that I wanted to call out here. Is I really like the orientation of this luggage pass-through. It has plenty of space. It's very easy to get onto a suitcase handle while you're walking around to save some weight on your back. And this pairs very nicely with the handle that's now included on the side. And since we're talking about the luggage pass-through, one more thing to call out here is there's actually a nice hidden compartment here that I missed when I did my unboxing video. This is teased on Knack's site about where the compartment actually is, so it took me a little while to find it. It blends in very well here into the back. There's a little zipper in the luggage pass-through that you can use to store something a little bit more sensitive, so I just tossed in a Field Notes notebook, but you can definitely fit a passport or maybe a wallet in here, and it's gonna have plenty of space and be very hidden so that you have some peace of mind from pickpockets while you're walking around. And then jumping into the organizational options, this is another area of the bag that had some pretty big changes. So on the Series 1 version of the Knack bag, there were a lot more kind of quick access external pockets. So you had one triangular pocket on the front that opened up with a little flap that had some nice organizational areas. You also had a larger compartment along the bottom that was great for bulkier items that you needed to grab quickly. And then you also had a quick access pocket at the top that was great for sunglasses or your phone. All of those pockets are no longer here, and everything is kind of placed behind this one larger zipper that is actually lockable. So it gives you a little bit more security. One of the pieces of feedback that I saw in some of my videos for the original Knack bags was that those pockets were very kind of vulnerable to pickpockets. So they took everything and put it behind this larger locking zipper, which so far has worked pretty well, but I won't lie, I do kind of miss having the variety of smaller pockets all around the front. But opening this larger compartment up here, it still works very nicely. They tried to take a lot of the organizational options that were in those smaller pockets and just kind of combine them in here in a way that actually works quite nicely. So starting off on the flap, you just have a larger mesh zipper pocket. I like the mesh that's used here. It's very easy to see what's on the inside. And I also like that this pocket has some volume, so it's gonna be able to store something a little bit thicker. So what I tossed in here was my GoPro Hero 3 Plus, and then I also tossed in a deck of playing cards. And then moving on to the other side, I like that the compartment itself has plenty of space. So if you just wanted to use this to hold some larger items, maybe a dot kit or a jacket, anything that you need to grab while you're going through the airport or something like that, you do have kind of a catch-all space here at the bottom that could also hold maybe a nice sized pouch. What I currently tossed in here though was just my BluePop portable Bluetooth speaker and power bank, since it's a little bit bulkier. Then you also have this nice slip pocket at the bottom that's gonna be a great spot for something like a notebook, which is what I currently have here, or maybe a tablet if you wanna be able to get to it a little bit more easy. And then on the back, you have a lot of nice kind of slip pockets and bands that are gonna help keep all of those smaller items that you might need to get to organized and easy to find. So starting off on the left, kind of at the front of this panel, you have a few slots that are gonna be great for holding some pens or something like a stylus. So I have my Everyman Click pen here. I also tossed in a stylus that I normally use with my tablet. And then on the front, you have some elastic bands that are just gonna give you some extra ways to kind of store some of these longer or thinner accessories. So I just put a flashlight into one of them, and then I also tossed in a little lightning adapter here. So like the variety that's offered in these elastic bands do give you enough space to hold a variety of sizes. And then next to that, you have a few small slip pockets. And these slip pockets is a pretty interesting size. They don't have any sort of elasticity, so you're not gonna be able to place anything bulky. And also, because there's no elasticity, whatever you place in here could potentially slip out. As you can see, this is pretty loose, so if you place the bag down, it could fall. This is just a simple tablet stand that I like to have with me while I'm on a flight. And then you have another small kind of slip pocket next to that. They're pretty similar size. And then behind that, again, just more slip pockets. So all of these, I don't really use that much. This might also be a great spot for some business cards. But if you don't want to use them, they just lay flat and kind of blend into the bag. And then you also have this very nice keychain attachment point. You have a lanyard with a metallic clip that's going to be a great spot, not only for your keys, but for something like a multi-tool. I have my Gerber shard here. And then a nice thing is that you have the ability to remove this leash. So if you want to be able to grab your keys quickly and use them without having to keep everything attached to the bag, this actually works out quite nicely. And then behind all of those smaller pockets, you have a slightly larger slip pocket here that goes down a decent amount. It goes down to about here. So it's gonna be another great spot to put something like a notebook or a tablet. Currently what I have here is just my Kindle e-reader, and that fit in there pretty easily. And then on the back at the top, you have one more slip pocket and this one is gonna be a little bit more protective for anything more sensitive that you need to store. So it has this soft kind of fleece lining on the inside to help protect against scratching. So this kind of replaces the sunglasses compartment that was previously on the outside. Still has kind of a similar amount of space. Currently what I have in this pocket is just a lightning cable, and I also tossed in my Apple AirPods. But this would also be a good spot to maybe store my sunglasses, particularly without a case. I actually tried to place the case in here and it was a little bit tight, so I do feel that it's protective enough though with this fleece lining if I just want to store them and be able to grab them quickly, or also to toss in maybe my phone while going through TSA. The next area that we're going to be taking a look at is the laptop compartment. And so this one has a nice side access zipper that's going to allow you to get to your laptop very easily while you're on the go. The zipper has a pretty good amount of protection. One thing that I noticed is that there is no zipper garage here at the top, so you want to make sure that it's closed, very tightly so that you don't have any water leaking in. It might have been a nice addition to include that. Hopefully in the future that's added to this type of pocket. And so opening this up, this version of the bag could definitely hold up to a 15-inch laptop. Plenty of space here. Currently what I have is my 13-inch MacBook Pro, but you can see there's plenty of leftover space at the top, and the compartment has a decent amount of padding. One thing that's mentioned on the site is that this is a suspended laptop pocket. I did notice that it's not really properly pulled up off the bottom of the ground, so it's not a false bottom as we've seen in some other bags where the laptop compartment kind of ends here. It gets down pretty close to the bottom, and when you stand the bag up, the laptop is a little bit suspended, but if you were to lean it forward, there would be some possibility of it making contact with the ground. Now, it does have some padding on the bottom, so it's still gonna be protected if you happen to place your bag down, but it's just not a completely false bottom, which would have been nice to see. And so, pulling my laptop out, now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. And so I like how much this comes up. So if you happen to have a thicker device, it should be able to fit in here okay, especially if the bag isn't super packed out. I did notice when I expanded it out and put all of my stuff on the inside, I was still able to fit my laptop, but it's a pretty thin device, so just something to keep in mind. But in general, it still feels like it offers a decent amount of padding to help keep my device protected while I'm running around throughout the day. And then the last area that we're going to be taking a look at is the main compartment. And so this has another lockable zipper, and I like how much this compartment opens up. This isn't a full clamshell style, but it opens up wide enough so that you can easily reach down and grab whatever you need. And so you have a lot of space in this compartment, especially considering that this is an expandable bag. This is one of my favorite things about the Knack bags in general, is this layout here, which I feel makes it one of the best expandable bags for everyday use. So you just kind of have a normal backpack here in addition to the hidden expandable compartment. So jumping into the items that I currently have here, first up, I have the Air Slim Pouch. This just came out recently. I did an in-depth video on how I packed this out if you want to check it out. This is one of my favorite new pouches. It's just able to hold a ton of stuff but still be a pretty slim form factor. And then I also tossed in my Levitate portable standing desk. Now, there's not a whole lot of other stuff in here just because of how many different pockets there are throughout the bag, and because I had it packed out, for traveling with the packing cubes and such. But there's still some nice organizational options on the inside. On the back paneling here, you have a mesh zippered pocket. I like, again, that you can easily see what's in this compartment, and that it also has a decent amount of volume. It's not completely flat, so it gives you a little bit more flexibility with what you can store in it. In this pocket, I just tossed in a wireless charger, which I like to have with me, particularly when I'm traveling or working somewhere outside of my house. I like to put this down and just rest my phone on it so it can charge. And then I also tossed in this little kit from Side by Side, which has just some small accessories that are very useful while traveling. You have a SIM card ejector tool, a place to hold some extra SIM cards, and then I like this plastic baggie so I can just use it to hold anything small that I don't want to get lost. And then moving down to the bottom, you have a nice sleeve here that also has a soft fleece lining similar to the one that we saw in the front compartment. So this is going to be great for protecting your tablet against scratches. This is what this compartment is meant to hold, and so I currently have my iPad mini and that fit in there very easily. This could definitely hold up to a 10 or 11-inch tablet very comfortably, and it's nice that it has this fleece lining. It might have been nice for the sleeve to be a little bit more rigid, but it's still nice that this just kind of adds some separation from anything else that's in the compartment. And then on the front of that, you have another zippered compartment. I didn't put anything in here. You have plenty of space and volume, but I just didn't want to cause too much additional bulk with the other items that I had in here. And then the last bit of organization I wanted to call out in this compartment is on the front here. You have this one last slip pocket that has a nice mesh so you can easily see what's on the inside. Again, plenty of volume for something a little bit bulkier that you don't want slipping down to the bottom of the compartment. The only thing that I tossed in here was my Matador pocket blanket, which I like to have with me, particularly if I'm outdoors, so I can just sit down and have some lunch. So just a really nice variety of pockets and space offered all throughout this main area and throughout the rest of the bag. Everything is so well thought out. I really like a lot of the improvements that have been made here. As far as how it compares to the original, I think this is a worthy successor. I do think that it's a little bit better. However, if you have the original version of the Knack Pack, I think you're fine to keep it. Mine have still held up very well, but if you don't have one and you're looking to get into the one bag life, or you're wanting to gift it to somebody who could use a backpack like this, then this is really gonna be a very solid option to check out. And so to wrap up, it's been a great experience testing out the Series 2 Medium Expandable Knack Pack. I really love the updated aesthetic of the bag. It has a great organizational layout, it has a solid build quality, and I really like the amount of space and flexibility that it offers with its expandability. And so you can currently purchase this on Knack's site for about $225, which is definitely a bit of an investment, but considering the features and build quality that are included with the bag, I think it's a pretty reasonable price, and it also compares well to other similar bags in this price range. And so if you're curious about how this compares to other similar expandable and compressible bags that are currently on the market, I definitely recommend you take a look at the roundup video that I did for some of my favorites. I'll make sure to link to that in the description below. And in that video, I talk a little bit about how this compares to bags like the Tortuga Set Out Divide, the Nomadic Travel Pack, the Norda Pack, and a few others. Overall, the bag holds up pretty well, but there are gonna be a few nuances that you'll wanna keep in mind when determining which is best for you. And if you're not interested in a bag that expands and compresses but that can still work for your everyday usage or for minimal travel, I recommend you check out some of the roundup videos that I've done for some of the bags that are gonna be in that size range where they're about 23 to 30 liters, so they're not quite that big, but they can hold a ton of stuff. And that's gonna include bags like the Evergood CPL 28, the Tortuga Set Out Laptop Backpack, and many others. So definitely recommend you check out both of those videos. If you have any questions on which bags might be best for you, or suggestions for other similar bags that I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank the company again for sending this for me to test out. And if you found this video helpful, please give us a like. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.